Hello. So, welcome to your week of it's titled Power Up Your Perception. So, what does this mean? Why is it so important? I'm going to get into all of that. Okay, so first of all, perception of a situation is everything. It's especially when you're going on a weight loss journey or a transformation journey, how you're perceiving yourself, your situation, the tasks that you need to complete to start, creating new habits. All those things, how you perceive it, is literally everything. So I want to talk to you. First, I'll share a story with you. So I remember many years ago, probably like 7, 8 years ago, I really got into fasting, and so I had another friend of mine who was also fasting with me. So we would every Wednesday, we would do a 36-hour fast. So we would go from Tuesday night to Thursday morning. I love food. I love food. So it was very difficult for me, and I would catch myself prior to these fasts kind of grumbling a little bit to myself about basically how I couldn't have food that day. And I remember my friend the morning of that, like that really was kicking us into that 36 hours because we started the night before. So no food that day. I remember just kind of feeling like, here we go. And she said, I am so excited that we get to fast today. This is going to be so awesome. And she just started like talking about all the benefits of fasting. And it just shifted my whole mindset. It shifted my perception. So my perception now became like, oh, it switched basically from, oh, I can't have any food, blah, 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 to all the benefits of fasting. So I got super excited about it. And my whole attitude was different. And so when I would have those little waves of like hunger pains and things like that, I was able to ride out those waves so much better because I was focused on the benefits that I'm getting and what's going to be the great outcome of doing this, and it worked wonders. So I just want to give you guys that story before I get more into it. So perception and how you perceive your transformation and moving from one goal, from one place to your goal is really what it comes down to. So perception, so let's say for example, you are getting ready for a workout. Let's just say it's a day, it's leg day. Let's say it's leg day. Leg day is tough for me, so I'll use that example. And you're kind of trying to get your mind ready, and you notice that you're just feeling like you're dreading it, like your emotions just like, you're kind of dreading it, right? What I want you to do is first of all remember this. And I have my little notes here. So your emotion, so your thoughts, what you're thinking is going to fuel an emotion. That emotion is going to fuel your decision. That decision is going to decide on your action or your behavior. And then that action or behavior is going to end up being whatever your result is. Okay. So if you're having a hard time, sticking to your plan, getting moving for workouts, or just anything else in your, sorry, my phone keeps blowing up. Anything else in your journey, or anything else in your life, if you notice that you have kind of like this, like dread or whatever your emotion may be, the number one thing you can do. So let's say you're dreading it. You're not motivated. You're sluggish about it. You're dreading it. That's kind of the emotion that you're feeling. Okay. So what you want to do is go, okay, I'm feeling dread. I'm not motivated. I'm unmotivated. So you go to what your thought about that situation. So if thought leads to emotion, then we got to go back to what is my thought about this situation? Your thought might be, let's just use this as an example. I am too out of shape. I'll never get there. That second sentence there. I'll never get there. If that's your thought, that is going to lead to kind of like a kind of apathy or like unmotivated type of emotion, right? Which is what's going to end up being the decision you make. Why bother today? Why bother? And you're not. The decision is you're not going to work out, and then that's also the action. The decision is not going to work out, and then the action behavior follows that. You don't end up working out, and what's the result? You stay in the same place. Okay, so but let's say you switch that. So let's say you're feeling that emotion of dread, of unmotivated, and you just are dreading it. You're just like, ugh. Go back to that thought, and the thought that said, I'm out of shape, I'll never get there. Switch that thought. Switch that thought to an empowering thought, a thought that's going to move you forward. So, what's a thought that you can take and go, I'm going to switch this? Yeah, I'm out of shape. Okay. But I can create a new habit of working out and I can change that. That empowers you. That is like, I can change this. Like, this doesn't, people do it all the time. People go from out of shape to being in incredible shape. They're no more special than I am. So I can do this. And it's going to take creating new habits one day at a time. That kind of might hopefully, stir up a little bit more in you, get a little fire going in you. And then, so that fire, that emotion, that like, okay, I'm going to do this. That's the emotion we were going for. That emotion is going to lead to you choosing or to lead to you deciding, I'm going to work out. I'm going to lace up my shoes. I'm going to get my equipment out and ready, or I'm going to head to the gym or whatever that workout is for the day. I'm deciding I'm going to work out. And then the action or behavior that follows is you work out. And what's the result of that? You do that enough times consistently, you're going to have results. That's the cool thing about, getting your nutrition right and staying active and exercising, is that it'll reveal itself in your results. So I really want to encourage you guys today to really like take a look at those times, like what is, if you're struggling with this, with your journey in this program, then maybe stop and look like what's my thinking about this. Or you could even start further out. So let's say you're not getting the result you want. Okay, so I'm not getting the results I want. So what has been my actions? What's been my behaviors? Have I been consistent? Have I been showing up? Following my meal plans or following the nutrition program I'm on? Have I been showing up to my workouts consistently, following that plan? Okay, so if that's a no, then you go, okay, wait, why? Why not? And you keep going back to like, okay, I decided that day I decided this was more important. That day I decided I didn't have the energy for it. That day I decided blah, blah, blah. And then you go back to what was my emotion that led to that decision? And then what's the thought that's leading to that emotion? So again, it's your thought that leads to an emotion. And these are things you can shift. And it might take work, it might take a lot of focus at the beginning, but you can create new pathways in your brain that start to like work for you. And that's why when this habit building and creating new habits is so effective, because you just keep doing it. You get up, you do the same habit, you focus on those key habits that are going to move you forward. You're changing your brain and you're showing yourself like, I can do this, and it starts to become what you do. Not at first, and you're not always probably going to feel motivated. If we're talking about working out, you're not always going to feel motivated for the rest of your life. I have days, I mean, I love working out, it's what I've always done, but there are days where I'm like, oh, I got to do this, and then I start thinking about the actual workout, the feelings I get from that workout, how much I feel after a workout, and that just kind of fires me up and gets me going. So, and sometimes it's just a matter of, well, let me just lace up my shoes and start stretching, get some pumping music going, get those emotions going, right? And start stretching out. So, um, but just keep in mind, like with anything, your perception of a situation is everything. So your thoughts about that situation are going to lead to your emotions, which those emotions that you're feeling from how you're thinking are going to lead to your action and your behavior. Your action, your behavior is going to lead to I'm sorry, backtrack. Those thoughts are going to lead to a decision that you're going to make about that situation. And then you're going to do some action behaviors based off of that decision. And then your results are going to be a reflection of everything that came before it. So just remember that with everything. And I always go back to, I don't know, if you had a chance to read my book, Cross Your Creek, and the story behind the creek, but just a short synopsis of it. We showed up to do a hike one morning. We were fired. We were on a retreat. We were ready to go do a hike. And there was a wide creek in the middle of the way from where we parked to where between where we parked and where the trail was. And we couldn't even see the trail. Perception was everything in that moment. I had a couple people that were like, let's go, this is awesome, like this is just life, things pop up, things happen. One lady just boop 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 right across the creek. Another lady like and I were like trying to find paths for people that a path that everyone could take, and like we're gonna make this happen. But it all came down to the perception. And then you had some people that were just like, I'm gonna get hurt. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. Why didn't they do this beforehand? Why isn't, all these honestly negative thoughts kicked in, which led to their emotion of just resisting that, and having maybe fear or frustration or those kind of things that just don't move you forward. So if you notice you're feeling like the fear, frustration, just any of those negative emotions, you might want to go back to your thought about a situation. So they had those emotions, and those emotions led to a decision, and that led to their action behavior and the result. So we had a couple people that just said, no, I'm too scared I'm going to get hurt. I'm too scared of this. So they went back and waited at the car. Their end result was they didn't do the hike. And then we had some people that shifted their thought on it, which shifted their emotions, and they to an attitude of like, I'm going to give this a shot, and they went for it, and again, their decision was, I'm going to give it a shot. Action behavior, they started finding a way across the creek, which ended up being quite simple. But it's just amazing what our minds do to us sometimes. And then when we can get control of that, of our thinking, we can do like so many amazing things. So then, that led to their result that they got to the top of it, and it was a beautiful view. It was worth it. It was a beautiful view. And their end result was they made it. They did it. So, but it all came back to their thinking about it. So, perception is everything. How you view things is everything. If you find yourself in that middle spot of emotions of just maybe like blaming or complaining or whining or being, grumpy about a situation, get in touch with what are you thinking about the situation, and how can you, because only you can do that. Nobody can do this for you. Only you can switch your thought into something that is more positive, and is and not even just more positive, but empowering, and is going to move you forward, so that you move forward into, okay, I switched my thinking about this situation. I'm going to give it my best shot. I noticed I was being negative. I was complaining, blaming, all those things that can come up. I had fear. I had those things because of the story I was telling myself. So I'm going to switch that story, and I notice now all of a sudden I feel a little bit lifted and like I can do this. So now my emotions are moving me into a decision to move forward in my action and behavior. And then I'm going to end up getting the results I want. So super like it's just like a magical thing what perception can do. And I really want to encourage you guys this week to really pay attention to your thoughts, to what you're thinking about a situation. If you have a goal, you have something you're shooting for, think about that situation, and then see what your emotions are attached to that situation. If you feel stuck in an area in your life, you feel like, just like the group of ladies were stuck because they were stuck in the story they were telling themselves about this creek. So if you're feeling that in your life, go back to like, what am I feeling about this situation? Okay, well, I'm feeling dread. I'm feeling fear. I'm feeling whatever. Okay, then what's the story I'm telling myself about this situation? So, and a lot of things will start moving for you when you do that, when you switch that thinking, and you will become so empowered in your life to say, when I set a goal, I stick to that goal and I hit that goal because of my perception of my ability to do that goal, and of just the process itself. I hope this makes sense. I hope it helps you out, and I hope you have an amazing week.